So it's officially the trade deadline, and the last week and a half has not been great for us. We've had some moments where we look terrible on offense, and then we give up a lot of opportunistic baskets to the opposing teams, and as a result, we chalked up a couple of L's. Shout out to Meek Mill. And, I mean, part of this was because Moutier wasn't in the lineup, but then when he came back against the Detroit Pistons, I mean, it still wasn't that beautiful. The ball still wasn't going in the hoop as often as I would like it to. And then on defense, it wasn't much better. So we haven't looked good around the past, few games. But even with all that, as of right now, we're definitely not out of the 8th seed hunt at all. In fact, we're actually right in the middle of it. And I mentioned a second ago that it is the trade deadline. And I want to show you a certain team, the Portland Trail Blazers, okay? They actually have the worst record in the league at this point. Why is that important? Well, that means that's going to be a high draft pick. You want to know who has their pick? We do. We have the Blazers pick, which means we might actually have a chance at the top pick in the draft. But back to the whole trade deadline thing. Will Barton for a while was in trade talks for us to acquire a scoring small forward. But recently, Justin Anderson decided, hey, I want to start making shots for you against the Detroit Pistons. And so I said, well, I want to allow him and Brandon Ingram to grow, but I still want to move Will Barton. So I just kind of asked every GM in the league, hey, what do you want for this guy? And the only reasonable move that 2K gave me was this right here, Atlanta offering us a first-round pick as well as a second-round pick for Will Barton. That's the move, and I said, okay, fair enough, because I like where we are at every position. And speaking of every position, we're going to go down every single one, and we're just going to grade how we've been doing and how we can improve. And I want to start with our starting point guard, our star player, Emmanuel Moutier. I'm going to give him a solid B+, because his ability to attack the rim it's awesome. That's the best way to put it. He can get by almost anybody. I mean, he's on Tony Parker here. Parker doesn't have a chance on him. And of course, as a result of Moutier driving to the basket so much, he gets our other guys involved. But the reason he can improve is because I think his outside shot can be a bit more effective for us. And the way I want to have that happen is get him moving off the ball. I mean, he's a great on-ball player, but you know what? He could hit some outside shots for us. I think he can do it. So we're going to do that. But also, we're going to get him moving some off-ball stuff going towards the basket as well. So I like Moutier's chances of that. Gary Harris, I say Gary Harris gets a B- because while I have a Danny Green vision for this guy as a defender and a three-point shooter, without really having to call many plays for him, and he has excelled at that aspect of it, hitting his outside shots, I do think Gary Harris has more potential than that for us. I mean, right here, he ends up on Chris Kaman, and you're going to see that I react accordingly by just driving right by him and right now. I think Gary Harris can be more effective going to the rim. Want to give him some more opportunities. Now, Gallinari, he gets an A. All right, do I need to really show you footage of Gallinari? Well, I can't because I have to go to work in an hour and a half. So, you know what Gallinari's done for us. He's been our best scorer ever since this series started, not just this season. And he's fine. He's going to keep doing what he's doing. Now, Thad Young, he gets a solid B because, I mean, he's the guy we traded for. He's the guy who's supposed to facilitate our new style of play, given that Kenneth Faried is no longer here. And his shooting has definitely been there. But I think it was this Detroit Pistons game where I learned so much about this team, even in a loss. I learned that the best way to use Thad Young is don't overcomplicate it, all right? He's an effective pick-and-roll player. He can hit the outside shot. He can finish around the rim really well. And given his athleticism, his size, his versatility, he can also be effective for us when it comes to things that I don't see coming. Being open on a fast break, grabbing an offensive rebound right here. Thad Young, he's versatile enough. I don't got to make it too complicated. Just get the guy the ball off of a pick and roll. He can be good. Now, Yusuf Nurkic, got to go C+, because that stamina is still a problem. And you see him running up and down the floor here. The conditioning drills are working, but he's still not there yet. Now, granted, when he's actually in the game, he's pretty good. I mean, his mid-range jumper has been fine, and him and Moutier are getting better at that pick and roll every single day. But when I have to take the guy out after like 5 minutes, it's a problem. His post-up game has been cool too. As for our bench, Pierre Jackson, who I barely ever show, by the way, he's been fine. I mean, when he comes into the game for Moutier, it's cool. He's hit some three-pointers for us, as you're going to see here, even though, again, it never makes it into the actual product of the video. He's cool. My favorite player, KJ McDaniels, B-, I would say, to be honest, because, I mean, defensively, he's been what I want him to be. I mean, he's a guy who I can put on a star player, but also a guy who can steal the ball and then just be gone in the open floor. But, of course, the question with KJ McDaniels is, how good can he be offensively? And I'm not saying running the floor and finishing at the rim, but more so the outside shot. I mean, as you see here, he's inconsistent. Now, the past few games, he's actually been pretty decent from there, and if he can hold it up, great, but I don't know. Justin Anderson, he's getting a C. And, I mean, to be honest, it could have been a D or maybe even an F for a while. But this game against the Pistons, these 2 3-pointers, man, these 2 threes show me maybe he can finally make some more shots for us and be as good as he was for us in his rookie season. Now, once again, because I have to go to work in an hour and a half, I don't have much time to tell you about Nigel Hayes. He gets an A as well, all right? Coming off the bench, our backup power forward. He's probably going to be starting for us at some point. His scoring, his shooting, his everything, it's great. Joffrey, he's a serviceable run, jump, dunk, and kind of hit three-pointer center. He's a fine guy to have when Nurkic dies from being on the floor for longer than 30 seconds. Here's a clip of him grabbing an offensive rebound. It's cool. And for the playbook, really, I want to get some more spread pick and roll. I feel like some of the pick and rolls I was running before were a bit too bogged down, guys running in each other's way. So hopefully these ones will allow the floor to spread out a bit more, give Moutier some more space, and hopefully we can get into the damn postseason.